Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore from Film Threat. How's it going here on a Wednesday afternoon for Hollywood on the Rocks? Hope you're doing well. Today on the show, lots of discussion. Alan will be joining me shortly. We are going to give our final thoughts on the Oscars. We'll talk about The Last of Us season finale. Also, South by Southwest Film Festival. You know, lots to talk about. Plus, director Scott Majors from Line of Fire, an Australian thriller. We're going to talk to him today on the show. So much going on. Buckle up, grab a drink. Yes, I'm on my second coffee. I gotta do it. I feel like I'm not completely post coffee unless I've had at least two. All right, let's get started for Hollywood on the Rocks.
Hey.
Alan, how's it going, man?
Good. I'm at a remote location for some personal reasons.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
And oh my God, so much to talk about. Like Oscars.
Was it not a great Oscar party?
Well, I mean, we'll get into it, but you also just got back from South by Southwest, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm tired. I'm still catching up. But
nice.
Yeah, we have a lot to say about South by Southwest.
All right, good. Well, before we launch in, let's see who's in the chat. I love our loyal viewers here. Andrew Monk Petit says, "Go to Vegas, Chris." The timing is weird for me. The timing is weird in the sense that it's like right when my movie comes out. So I'm going to be doing press for the movie. So I might, Gary's going to really have to twist my arm on it. Lord Thoth says, so I'm still undecided, but we'll see. Lord Thoth says, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, just like the bell that Alan just heard. Join us as a member. Solomon Thornton says, if you're ready for Film Threat, then give me a hell yeah. Let's see. Mike MC Wong getting on the Super Mario Kart ride at Super Nintendo World right now. Awesome. Red Terror 1978 says, what, is Chris late? Only usually by a couple minutes. Normally what I'm doing is just setting things up. I'm setting things up, getting like photos, video, pictures, making sure we are all coming, all pulling together here. Is Alan in a Waffle House right now?
We're close.
72.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Waffle Houses in Southern California, but it's pretty close to it.
Yeah, and then Marco CCS65 says, your Sunday stream was great. Seriously, it's worth a rewatch.
Absolutely.
I would think.
By the way, did you thank X-Ray Girl for being there?
X-Ray Girl was great. She was awesome. No, that's my it's my friend Kira Lynn. She normally does television. She does like a lot. She's in the CCA with you and I.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know. We got to all the women that I invited. To be clear, I know it was a sausage fest. I invited a ton of women to be on our live stream. They were all doing other shows. Like none of them were available. It was weird. Only the men had no plans. So there you go. More questions. Shucksy for 5. Rewatched Ferris Bueller's Day Off and 69,000 subscribers to Film Threat. This is definitely one of my best birthdays ever. Let's go Film Threat. Well, happy birthday, Shucksy. Happy birthday to you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. The Joker got my FT Batman logo shirt a few weeks ago. Going to sport it tonight and make it a convo piece to try to bring some people here. Awesome. Bring them here. Everyone's welcome to this party. Let's see. And Fletcher Williams, I haven't talked to you in a while, for $4.99. Alan, did you see NPR tweeting that Michelle Yeoh making history as a person who identifies as Asian?
I know. I got into it with someone on Twitter about that, and yeah, it got pretty spicy. I will say the guy who I got into an argument with, very polite, had a lot of opinions, but you know, I just kept saying, you know, she gave a great performance. Why are we so focused on being Asian? and it was, it became this lesson about anti-Asian racism, and then it dawned on me, Michelle Yeoh throughout her entire career never dealt with anti-Asian racism. In fact, all the roles she had she got because she was Asian, and all the Hong Kong movies. If she was white, she wouldn't be in those movies. Her career, to this point, the success of her career in Hong Kong and in America, all had to do with the fact that she was Asian. So I just find that interesting when we look at the history of her career, that this is what we're talking about. But yeah,
it's
thoughts. You have thoughts on that?
No, but identifies as Asian is stupid. We have reached peak stupid when it comes to all the nonsense from I think people that just have little life experience but a lot of opinions. If you're filled with very little life experience but a lot of opinions, you don't know anything. You honestly do not know anything.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, my whole point on this was the fact that you are saying that she is the first Asian. You're just diminishing the performance she gave that won her that Oscar.
The performance had nothing to do with the fact that she was Asian. It had to do with the story between her and her daughter, her family, the strife with her business. It was I don't know.
And why that resonated with people who are not Asian. I mean, that is the beauty of the story, is that it has that broad reach. You don't have to be Asian to like it.
That's exactly right. And I think that those are the best reasons to connect with it. So, but before we get into our little Oscars debrief, we passed a milestone here, Alan.
Yeah,
we passed a milestone. Oh, we passed a big milestone. I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you here. I took some screen caps here, but I'm going to say, Alan, we did it. Everyone wants to celebrate, like, 100,000 subs. That's so great. You know what we did? We reached 69,000 subscribers.
There we go. Thank you to everyone.
Finally, 69,000 subscribers. Thanks to you. Thanks to you watching. We have a very special celebration now. We're going to celebrate 69,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Our next goal is for 100,000. We're going for 100,000. But let's take a look through 69 memory lane.
69.
Exactly, Alan. Here we go. First of all, what day is it?
The number of the day is 69.
I'm going to play all these videos because
I know
we're never going to play them again after this. This is it.
I'm waiting for the new ones.
This is the 69,000 celebration.
69.
69 is how I scored with your mother last night.
But, it was actually technically like around midnight. I was like keeping tabs on it. We were 7 away. We were so close. It was hilarious how close we were. I thought it was pretty amazing. But I know.
Which is indicative of the 69.
Well, exactly. Yeah. But no, I had a screen cap here. That I thought, you know what? I'll get to it later. But no, here it is. Yeah, I took a screen cap of this, and it was, well, you'll see. Just give me a minute here. Give me a minute. I want to bring this up. This is how I was keeping tabs on it so much. I'm gonna stop screen. I'm gonna present. What? I just have to show this to you. It's fun. Look, we had reached at a certain point 68,969 subscribers. That's how we were doing at a certain point.
And that was yesterday, right?
That was yesterday, 60. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of fun. 68,969. But this is here. Let's go back to this. I got a couple more videos. People were sending them in to me. Leo Cody, our loyal Leo Cody, was doing videos. Here, check this out. He wanted us to truly celebrate 69,000 subs. Not only that, a lot of people were sending in well wishes.
69.
A lot of people were sending in well wishes. People you might recognize were very excited that we reached 69,000.
Today we have some very special guests who would like to congratulate the boys on achieving
69.
69.
69.
69.
69.
69.
Wow. Well, the clout that we have, I tell you.
I love it. I mean, I don't know how we got. I mean, mostly presidents, you know, when they're retired, what are they doing anyways? They're just doing.
They're watching movies.
They're doing Cameo for $5. But this is the topper. Glenuccio, our intrepid producer, wanted to truly celebrate, and he prepared this video a while back. I want everyone to enjoy. This is our final tribute to Alan saying
69.
it's our look, you'll never see this again. So check it out.
He joins us from Atlanta to discuss the charges, and we welcome you. How did all of this trouble begin?
The last time I was in San Francisco, I got to go to the Walt Disney Museum, and they talk about 69.
Well, let's talk about your tour. When are you leaving?
69.
And where are you going?
69.
We want to thank you for being with us today.
Yeah,
Oh, is there something more you want to say that we...
69.
Thanks for reminding us of that. Every once in a while, we forget. Good luck on your tour. Thanks for being with us. I guess we're going to hear lots more.
69.
Oh my god! I finally made it.
So
I finally made it on CNN.
we're retiring all the 69 videos. We're on our way to. We're basically on our way to 100,000. That's the next, I think, milestone that we're gonna celebrate. But let's get right into it. The Oscars happened. Alan, I want to know what your thoughts are, kind of a debrief. I mean, you know, we're a little late on it because we don't do a show necessarily on Mondays, but I actually think that this was the best that we could hope for. You know, there were definitely far less politics than you would normally see under these circumstances, which I thought that was refreshing. But what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it did surprise me that that not only did Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of carry everything, but how well All Quiet on the Western Front did, considering you can't see it anywhere except Netflix. Can't go to the movie theaters and see it. You know, I kind of agree with Eric Weber about Netflix really needs to start releasing their films in theaters, and maybe it'll mean something. And by not being in the theaters, I don't know how Netflix plans to ride the wave of All Quiet on the Western Front. But in terms of the ceremony itself, you know, I think you had the numbers. My feelings was that it went up, and I think it is partly because it was a fairly safe ceremony, not a lot of controversy behind it, and you know, and I think that made the watch party much better to watch than the actual ceremony itself.
Exactly. Well, let's look up the ratings for the Oscars. Oscars draw, this is from Variety, Oscars draw 18.8 million viewers, up 13% from last year. That's a marked improvement. Let me share a screen for a second so people can see this. But it was, you know what? I think that the excising of the politics, this is like being rewarded for that, right? Like 13%. Okay. They reversed the trend because last year was up and a lot of people were saying it was because of the slap. This year is up. I think it's mainly because of obviously, you know, backing off a little bit on the politics, focusing on, you know, at least two of the movies were widely seen by people. I'll give you a quick. It says update. The 2023 Oscars attracted an average audience of 18.8 total million viewers on Sunday night, pushing the show up 13% from previous year's figures. The ceremony earned a 4.0 rating in the adults 18 to 49 key demo, pushing it to 3-year highs in both total viewers and demo, up 5% since 2020. The telecast outperformed the 2023 Grammys on CBS by 50%, which
Wow.
picked up an audience of 12.5 million total viewers for the February 5th show, and last year's Emmys on NBC by 219%, which brought in an audience of 5.9 million. I mean, award shows as a category of entertainment is just tarnished. I just think that people are not into award shows like they used to be. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but we talked a little bit about it at the watch party, but back in the 70s, early 80s, there were 3 television events that everybody watched. It was the Super Bowl, the Oscars, and the Miss America pageant. And now it's just the Super Bowl. And I think part of it is the fact that at least the Super Bowl is not predictable. But in this case, you know, we talk about it. It's the quality of films that get nominated. And I'm wondering if, you know, there wasn't a big presence from Avatar and Top Gun. And I'm wondering if there was some mojo behind Everything Everywhere All at Once that brought a bigger audience than we expected.
Right. Also, by the way, my friend Mark Atkinson, he crashed the Neon Party. Remember we brought him in a couple times? He was in Hollywood trying to crash the Oscars. He got into the Neon Party and he sent me a bunch of pictures you can see on his Instagram. I can't believe that, Mark. It's kind of crazy. But look, I think that what Hollywood is realizing, and this is purely because of the data, is that people want to see more mainstream movies get nominated.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, or at least win or have a chance to win. You know, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, you talked about it. How many, when you polled everybody, you know, most people said they saw 2 of the Best Picture nominations, and I assume that was Avatar. There's definitely Maverick, and it was probably something other, and possibly Avatar. You know, I mean, you know, other than Tar, I'm struggling to remember what were the other nominees in that category. Because, you know, we just didn't see it. It's as great as, you know, this is the one Eric and I got into, but as great as I thought Tar was, we're going to forget about it years from now. Yeah.
Well,
it wasn't a movie that had broad appeal. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think it, look, I think it's a great performance, and I think it's an excellent script. And I loved a lot about that film, but a lot of the things about this, these movies don't have broad appeal. These are indie movies. And the thing is this, look, my heart is with indie movies, but I recognize that these are not broad appeal films. And at least the Oscars were like 80% movies that most people had seen. And there was like this 20% of smaller films that, you know, not as many people had seen, which is kind of our bread and butter. But I recognize like some of those movies break through, like Everything Everywhere and whatnot. But for the most part, they don't, or The Whale. And now it's sort of like it's in the reverse. It's 80% movies nobody has heard of, small indie movies, and like a 20% of the movies that a lot of people have heard of. Let's go to your super chats and comments here. And I do have an announcement. To make. It's a very important announcement. James Ricciuti, congratulations on 69,000. John Manalang, ladies and gents, this is a monumental time. All hail 69,000. Thank you, John Manalang. Thank you for being a member. And I hope for those of you that are members that you looked at the members community tab, and some of you won Blu-rays, I know, and some of you got some of the digital codes. Did you cash in the codes? Who won? Who are some of the winners?
Yeah, post that in the community tab, or here in the chat.
Yeah, the community tab or in the chat. Laura Buckle says, I, for one, was offended when Kimmel stereotyped Irish people as being fighters. How dare he? Look, my national holiday is coming up on Friday. Friday is March 17th. I will be at the bar later in the afternoon on St. Patrick's Day.
So I'm trying to star these instead of pull them up. So
okay. But yeah, thank Laura Buckles. Look, it's fine. You know what? You can stereotype my Irishness all you want. Yes, loved it. I can drink. I do okay on that. No Money G for 5 says congrats on 69,000 guys. We appreciate that. We've got like almost 400 people. Should we play maybe one last time? We'll play that video.
Do it.
What this is the last time we're playing.
69.
This is it. This is it. This was prepared special. Since we have almost 400 in the chat, slap that like button. Slap the like button 69,000 times.
He joins us from Atlanta to discuss the charges, and we welcome you. How did all of this trouble begin?
The last time I was in San Francisco, I got to go to the Walt Disney Museum, and they talk about 69.
Well, let's talk about your tour. When are you leaving?
69.
And where are you going?
69.
We want to thank you for being with us today.
Yeah,
Oh, is there something more you want to say that we...
69.
Thanks for reminding us of that. Every once in a while, we forget. Good luck on your tour. Thanks for being with us. I guess we're going to hear lots more.
69.
What were you doing in Atlanta?
It wasn't in. Oh yeah, it was Dragon Con. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the exact context when I said that and why I said that.
No, I thought it was hysterical. I thought it was hysterical. Let's go to more of your chat comments and questions here. Thank you so much. On our way to 96,000 says be more, Mo Better is a member. Mike Rogers says, yay. Congratulations. Looking forward to your video celebrating 1 million subs in the future, says Jared Presley for $5, which is awesome. Toxic Waltz N8 is here, says it's pretty wild that the media was so desperate for another slap incident sized story this year, that this Hugh Grant interview, which is a complete nothing burger, is all they can grasp onto.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, man.
Ridiculous. No Money G for 5. Congrats on 69,000, boys. And Rita Ibn Mohammed for 10. Thank you. News confirmed by Oscars that they told Jimmy to remove his harsh Will Smith jokes. He actually had punchier material. Oh, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, They go through a lot of jokes. I mean, they are writing the show up until the last minute. So there you go. And more comments here. Gurov Bot says, RRR had great score in cinematography. Sad it didn't get the nomination. The score was really great. It is. In fact, the score for RRR is actually on Spotify. You can listen to it. It's I have it. I saved it as a playlist. I listen to the RRR score as I'm sitting in traffic. Leo Cody has become a new member. Leo Cody, who's made a bunch of our videos and graphics now. Leo, really appreciate your contributions. Leo, I think he's on vacation right now. Are you still on vacation, Leo? Leo, enjoy your vacation. We appreciate the videos, but I want you to have a great time. Joe's Atmosphere says congratulations on 69 guys. Actually watched the Oscars from beginning to end for the first time in years. They 95% celebrated film. Got to get rid of Kimmel though. Yikes. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I'm not a big Kimmel fan. I feel he's kind of something of a hypocrite when it comes to some of this stuff. Want Biscuits says didn't see the Oscars, but read about Kimmel's joke about Pauly Shore. I thought it was a funny joke.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought it was a funny joke. I've always liked him. I hope he can get some quality work and be taken more seriously. I worked with Pauly Shore. I met him on the festival circuit. He did a bit part in a movie I made years ago called My Big Fat Independent Movie. Mm-hmm. It's literally like he's in like a couple shots. He came in for a couple hours, flirted with all the girls, did his bit, flirted with girls, and then left. But he was a professional. Came in, did his job, and was out of there. Solomon Thornton says, Mia Goth stated that the Oscars are out of touch, and if they want ratings to go up, they should nominate the most popular film and even win. Top Gun should have won, like Star Wars should have won back in 1977. Have you heard that interesting piece of news, Alan, that speaking of Star Wars should have won, I became aware of a movie critic back in the day named Pauline Kael. And Pauline Kael became one of my favorite movie critics. She hated Star Wars and wrote a scathing review of it back in 19 1977. And, I became a fan of Pauline. I didn't need to agree with Pauline because my whole philosophy on many things is we can disagree and coexist. We can disagree and coexist. And I think that you were supposed to react differently to that, Alan. You're supposed to give me your thoughts.
Yeah.
I disagree with Chris all the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can disagree with Chris all the time.
No, I don't care. It's fine. But, look. So I heard some news. I don't know if it's confirmed that Quentin Tarantino's final film, his 10th movie, if you're counting, it's titled The Movie Critic. It's set in the 1970s, and it's loosely based on Pauline Kael. Now, there is a documentary about Pauline Kael. What's the documentary called, Alan?
Pauline Kael.
Kael. Just Google Pauline Kael documentary.
My thumbs are too big. That's the problem.
Wait, what are you on, your phone?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to learn because Quentin Tarantino has said, like, someone asked him, because he makes a lot of movies that are period pieces, Westerns, movies set in different time periods. Someone asked him I believe it was at Cannes, asked him, what is your favorite time period era to make a film? And he said, any time before cell phones. Quentin Tarantino despises cell phones. He's not a fan of cell phones. And I think when it comes to storytelling, I think that having a cell phone has created like all sorts of problems for screenwriters and storytellers, because this device can solve so many problems. And I think it's created a challenge. So the idea that like the 70s is an era that, Tarantino loves. It's the greatest era of American filmmaking. And I think having her as a subject will be amazing. What a great way to sort of put a capper on his career, to make a movie called The Movie Critic. Wes says Pauline Kael didn't like Raiders of the Lost Ark either. Snakes and Funerals says Pauline Kael didn't like Blade Runner either. But the point is, she presented very compelling arguments as to why she did not like those movies. Okay? Really compelling arguments. What she said, the art of Pauline Kael, says Portland 182. Thank you, Portland 182. Always good to see you in the chat. Yeah, I saw the doc. I couldn't remember the name of the doc. And I just love Pauline Kael because she was not just a contrarian. Pauline Kael presented, like, she aspired for movies to do better and presented arguments as to why things didn't work. She famously didn't like Star Wars, and that year Annie Hall won, and Woody Allen didn't show up to accept the award for Best Picture.
So let me ask you this: if it's loosely based on her life, what do you surmise is the drama of the movie? Well, what do you think is the theme he's going to attack in this film?
Well, she was a woman at the time in a field mostly dominated by men. It's an interesting story. I think it's an interesting story because of the era, not because that's a problem today. I don't think it's as much of a problem as when Pauline Kael was doing it. She really had to like fight for what she was doing, and it was hard to make a living. It's not like being a movie critic was a job that, this is pre-Siskel and Ebert. Siskel and Ebert were the late 70s, right? It was a local Chicago cable show that was syndicated on PBS. So I hope it gets into movie criticism. I hope it like elevates the form, because the conversations people were having about movies in the 70s are much smarter than the conversations that we've been having today. There were at least different challenges, right? I think a lot of times we get caught up in the, with all due respect to Siskel and Ebert, the thumbs up, thumbs down, the Rotten Tomatoes score and rating. And the conversation there were deeper layers than that, and it wasn't this whole like chewing up and spitting out pop culture. I mean, we've forgotten Ant-Man. That was less than a month ago. It was the biggest movie at the box office for 2 weeks, and we hardly talk about it. Movies then resonated. A movie came out, you'd still be talking about it. And movies weren't like, it wasn't about the first weekend at the box office. It's an incredible world that I hope that that Tarantino really explores. Dino's review says the film critic, I was hoping it would star John Lovitz playing Jay Sherman. It stinks. Davina Duckworth says, I remember people used to make fun of Siskel and Ebert too. Yeah, because they were considered surface level kind of hacks. They popularized and mainstreamed movie criticism and discussion.
Yeah, I mean they were essentially the only ones until like Leonard Maltin came along with Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Davina goes on to say, I liked Leonard Maltin. I still like Leonard Maltin. He does a podcast with his daughter. It's great. I have been to Leonard's house. He is one of the nicest, coolest dudes you'll ever meet. Super sweet. And been out to dinner with him a couple times. Always run into him. I always have to say hi to, he's usually with his wife, who's also his manager. Just a great, great person. Leonard Maltin is just as frustrated that the conversation about film is not smarter. And Arjen points out, because most of the movies were smarter in the 70s. True. Oh, another super chat here from Bass Player 2011 11 of 5 for 1999 says, I don't think this will be Quentin's last film, maybe his last in the director's chair, but he will probably still write and produce. And I'm thinking this might be another alt history film like Hollywood or Bastards. I think it will as well. And I am here for it. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be I hear the script exists, but in order to read the script, you have to go to Quentin Tarantino's manager's office, sit in a room, read the script, and walk out without the script. Because he's looking to cast and whatnot. So
yeah, well, and we know how the leaks are coming along.
And by the way, Tarantino, I saw he did this whole like after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He did a lot of interviews. He talked about how he's just wants to write movie novelizations of movies he's already made, just so that he can expand on the world. And he kind of wants to retire. I mean, he's married. He got married late in life. He's now a father. You know,
he lives in Israel.
He lives in Israel. Like, he's just going to make this movie, and that's going to be his mic drop. And more power to him. More power to him. More chat comments and questions here. It's really, we appreciate it. Someone asks here, question, it was just up there. Oh yeah, Goldine Brem for €2 says, will you publish the Oscar stream? It's live.
It's fair.
It's, if you go to the Film Threat YouTube channel, just look up live. It's there. Or you just look up Oscars on our channel.
Yeah. I mean, it should be there.
It's 5
I don't know
hours.
I don't know if they split up the live versus the all the other ones, but you may have to look at both places.
Well, we didn't get dinged for copyright at all. We didn't get dinged. But yeah, no, we keep our live streams live. We don't unpublish them or privatize them. We might do that at some point in the future. There might be a necessity to do that, but yeah. And thank you. I have over 500 people watching now. Thank you. Here we go. On a scale of 1 to 10, how violent do we think the film critic will be? Is it angry directors trying to kill a critic who panned their films or something? Says Dream Profit for $4.99. I don't think it will be at all. I think that Quentin Tarantino is a little bit tired of being defined by people that, oh, you always treat female characters like this, or you do this. There's so many false assumptions about Tarantino as a filmmaker. This is going to be his mic drop. My expectation is the only violence that will be in this movie will be in fake movies that the critic in the movie critic will be writing about. You know what I mean? So this is just my speculation, folks, that there will be violent scenes, but they're in fake movies because Tarantino likes to make up fake movie history. Like the television show that Leonardo DiCaprio was in. What was it called, Alan?
Oh gosh. Oh, I forgot. It was
Alan is the best at trivia. He is the best. I can ask
you know how many movies
question.
I see. You know how, like we may have an interview later on. I saw that movie, but I saw it 20 movies ago. And I barely remember that movie.
Alan can answer any question in less than 7 minutes. That's but my suspicion is because Quentin Tarantino likes to sort of mix real history with fake history. Bounty Law. Thank you, Free Kittens LA. He likes to do that. I think there's going to be fake movies that are based kind of loosely on movies we already know, but you know, and then Pauline Kael is not really Pauline Kael. She'll be different, and it'll be a female protagonist, and it's going to be his mic drop on everything.
It'll be
And
Uma Thurman. By the
what
way.
I like about Tarantino is he doesn't lean into stereotypes. He does not lean into stereotypes. So there you go. Enrico Palazzo for 5 says The Gods Must Be Crazy played at our local theater for over a year. By the way, I love that film. I saw it when I was a kid, when it was at least in first run in the United States, and it's a brilliant film. Didn't they make a sequel to it, The Gods Must Be Crazy 2, that did not do very well?
I think so. But I will say the only reason I've ever heard of The Gods Must Be Crazy was Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah. I'm going to go through these chats, and I have something I need. I have some very big news. Please, if you're watching now, don't leave. In the next 10 minutes, I have an announcement, and you're all going to want to hear it. John Orchard for 10 says, I think people are tired of not getting entertained by movies and then being lectured about why people didn't watch the movie. Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing of like Tarantino. Tarantino entertains and makes you think. This is why we're still talking about movies he made decades ago. The reason we're still talking about movies that Quentin Tarantino made decades ago is because they have layers. The more you watch them, the more things that you notice. There are more points of discussion. And Tarantino movies, we could just do a podcast where we just discuss aspects of Tarantino films, the influences, where this came from. I mean, Tarantino is a genre unto himself, if you ask me. Dream Prophet goes on to say, I actually, for $4.99, thank you for that. I actually agree. And you can use the films they're reviewing to fit every scene he never got to use in his last movie, and many, many cameos, of course. Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
This is a great idea. It is, next to Dune 2, the movie I'm looking forward to most. Eddie from Outer Space. What are you doing in outer space, Eddie? For €5. Hey, Chris, greetings from Germany. The first time I saw you was on an episode of Star Trek Continues. How did you get that cameo? Star Trek Continues rocks hard. Well, I'll tell you how I got that cameo. I am friends with James Kerwin, who is one of the directors of that show. He directed the episode I was in. He's a huge Doctor Who fan. I'm a fan of like everyone who's on that show, and it literally was luck. I've got a bit part with one line, will you fly to Atlanta on your own dime? And I said, I'm doing it. I'm flying to Atlanta on my own dime. Went out, got to visit the sets. I have a bunch of video from that I'll have to show you, but Star Trek Continues. You know, I know Vic. I know Vic as well. I think, you know, he got a raw deal in the way that he was treated. And he's incredibly passionate about Star Trek. Not a perfect man. And Vic would say that as well. He is not a perfect person. But what he did was nothing short of a miracle. He extended into like an additional season of Star Trek and kind of wrapped up the story, connected it to motion picture. And I love it. Star Trek Continues is fantastic. So
which episode are you in?
I believe I'm in the 4th episode. I play an alien character. Alien. So yeah. And thank you for that, Eddie from Outer Space. Yeah, I'm a big fan of old school Star Trek. I have been watching Picard. That last episode 4, was just fantastic. I can't wait for the next episode, and it's really great. Joe's Atmosphere. Wait, did I already read this one?
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we did. We did.
All right, Wop Biscuit says, we already did that one too?
Yeah, we did that one. You're supposed to unstar these things.
Okay, great. All right. Well, we're gonna. Anyways, look, our wrap up of the Oscars is, it's improved. It's improved. If last year was a D-, this is a C+. This is a C+.
It was safe. It was absolutely safe.
And I think that they did a decent job. So, all right, let's
Yeah. Well, I did like the commercial for Little Mermaid midway through during the ceremony.
I did not like that commercial. I think it looked terrible.
Oh
They
my
kind of,
God.
I mean, look, it's on ABC, so they kind of stopped it to like, and here's a commercial.
But
It
the fact
looks
that
like-
they introduced it in the ceremony, and
It was
then
terrible.
Yeah,
That was a bad
self-promotion
idea.
is absolute self-promotion.
That was Disney flexing
Mhm.
muscle, just saying, "Hey, we're putting the show on our network. We're gonna run a trailer for Little Mermaid."
Yeah.
I
Well, they're
thought that-
leaning hard into Halle Bailey too.
The trailer looked terrible. It looks like bed knobs and broomsticks. By that I mean the bed knobs and broomsticks, the old cartoon where they kind of embed the people in 2D. She didn't look like she was actually in that environment. I
Mhm.
did not like it. I don't expect to like the movie, but probably nothing to do with Halle Berry. I actually think Halle Berry she's stunningly good looking, and she looks like, the way her face, she looks like a cartoon character. She looks like a Disney princess. You can't take anything away from her on that.
When she was on stage at D23, you'd swear that she was Black Ariel. She's got that bubbly personality. It's just but in that trailer, she hits a note and it's just slightly off, and it was, I guess, for stylistic reasons, but it just sounded horrible.
Alan, we have to pivot away from the Oscars, please. All right. No more Oscars. The Oscars watch party is still on the channel. Check it out. But I have an interesting announcement to make. Wait, where's that? I did have a video kind of queued up for us. Where was it? That kind of introduces this topic. Where is it? I had it right here.
Introducing Sparkle.
My video's gone. It's not here. Where is it? Maybe it's somewhere else.
Did it upload? Did you play it when you uploaded it?
I did play it when I uploaded it. It's not here now. I don't know where it went. Alan?
Paint this room where you want to get your money. We're not paying for that.
No.
Is it in Hollywood on the Rocks, or is it in Film Threat?
I had it queued up. I had it all queued up, and I don't know where it went. All right, well, that's okay. I'll find the video, re-upload it, and we'll talk about it. I need to talk about this. Somebody asks in a comment here, is Attack of the Doc coming out on physical media? Yes, but I'm not announcing anything about it. I'm just getting look, I've been working on this movie for 3 years, through a pandemic, through G4 coming back. We're working on this movie a long time. Okay. Trying to get, I am doing everything I can to make sure that it can legally be released on all video on demand platforms. That is no mean feat, especially, when we ran out of money a long time ago. So I want to release it so everyone can see it. Everyone can see the film. And guess what? Now you can see the film. The physical media release of Attack of the Doc, no exact date, but it's going to be before San Diego Comic-Con in July. But there's the premiere of Attack of the Doc is taking place on Friday, April 21st. You can buy tickets for it. Tickets are cheap. They are now on sale. It's going to be at the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana, California. There's going to be a screening of the movie, a Q&A. We're going to have a little party in the lobby. There's going to be secret after parties somewhere. And in order to accommodate everybody, there will be 2 screenings of the film, one at 8 o'clock and one at 10:15 p.m. If the demand is big enough, we will add another screening at 6 p.m. Tickets are now on sale at thefridacinema.org. There is a link in the description of this episode of the show. So go down, click on that link, grab yourself tickets. These tickets are very limited. Grab a ticket. Alan Ng is going to be doing the Q&A at the premiere.
Yes, I will be.
The editor-in-chief of Film Threat will be doing the Q&A
Yeah,
at the premiere of Attack of the
absolutely.
People that are in the movie are going to be there. We're going to have some special guests. I'm inviting a lot of people from G4 TV, both old and new, if they would like to attend. That's why we want to have multiple screenings. It's going to be fun. So I will be there. It's going to be a long day for me, maybe seeing the movie 3 times, but join us. Tickets are affordably priced. And what I love about the Frida Cinema, which is why I wanted to do the screening at the Frida Cinema, is the Frida Cinema is one of the last independent theaters in the LA area.
Mm-hmm.
It is also not in Los Angeles, which has proven to be very dangerous after dark. Additionally, the Frida, they have drinks, you can get beer or other types of drinks and snacks and food in the lobby. The lobby is sort of a hangout, like a party place. There are 2 really cool bars within 1 block of the theater that will probably do something after, but I really want you to come down and enjoy the film. This is Friday, April 21st, 8 p.m. and 10:15 p.m. The movie will be out on video on demand on April 24th, which is the 20th anniversary of G4 TV. We're going to debut a new trailer about a week before that. I'm very excited about that aspect of it. Yeah, it's that's when it premieres, and it's on VOD. Now, on the VOD side, it doesn't come out on every VOD platform all at once. If you're a Amazon Prime or a Vudu person or whatever, they come on. Indie filmmakers can't dictate a day and date, right? It'll be out on Vimeo on demand on the 24th, and then it'll appear on other platforms just after that. So you will get to see it. And if you're a backer, you're going to get it earlier. That's all I'm going to say. I just look, this movie was a labor of love for years. I can't wait for you all to see it. And you can love it. You can hate it. You can post a review on Rotten Tomatoes. We will talk about it, and we'll do a watch party for Attack of the Doc on this channel, probably sometime in May. We'll do it in May. But the fact that I got Alan Ng to do the Q&A.
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
great.
yeah, the confirmation on my part was instant.
Well, I basically asked you on the stream, so
yeah, I just found out literally 3 minutes ago. So.
Yeah. So look, there's a lot of look, it's I just want to see it with a crowd. So come to one of the shows. We will, if those shows sell out, we will add an additional 3rd screening of the film, because one of those screenings we're going to have half the audience is going to be people from G4 or people who are in the movie. So I hope that answers your question. And then the Blu-ray, I'll announce a date, but it will be before San Diego Comic-Con in July. But again, the Kickstarter backers get it first. I want to make that very clear. And I should probably do a Q&A with the Kickstarter backers, because they always ask a lot of questions. And I'm so grateful for the patience of people who stood by. We have a few people that complain. That's just normal, but most people have been just so kind and understanding. So I just want you to see the movie, and I want everyone to be able to see it. That's why we were editing last night stuff for legal stuff that we had to kind of fix so that we can legally release it. It's not a simple thing to do a movie like that. So please join me in Santa Ana, California. People are flying in. Some of the backers that are producers are flying in to see it. So I'm really excited to meet them face to face, shake their hands. I'm not a hugger, Alan. I might hug people at the screening, and I'm not a hugger. You know what? I can count the number of times Alan and I have hugged.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
0 times.
Well, I mean, we did the obligatory, hey, great to see you, shoulder thing.
I do the shoulder one. And Alan is taller than me. If you want to see the most awkward hug, make sure you film Alan and I hugging at the Frida Cinema on Friday, April 21st. Let's go to your questions and comments. Sean Semenko for 10. Thanks to my bartending job at my local movie theater and you guys, I finally saw RRR in theaters last week.
Oh, that's awesome.
so much soul, love, and magic that's now a rare species in Hollywood. Thank you. Sean, thank you for the 10. And thank you for going to see RRR in a theater. Well worth it. John Thomas for 5. Was Kurtzman fired from Star Trek, or is this just a hopeful rumor? That is a hopeful rumor, like Kathleen Kennedy being fired or this thing happening. Like, all these things are, to me, obvious. Like, you make a course correction. If someone didn't deliver, I feel like you make a course correction, you know?
Yeah. Or if they have no vision on how to fix the problem.
John Mewald says, can I get an 8mm film print of Attack of the Doc? No, but you will be able to get it on Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is going to be, we had to fix some things for legal. We didn't change those things on the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray will be unedited, uncensored. There's so many extras on the Blu-ray. It's taking us extra long to do it. So, Patrick Lemire, this is much sooner released than I thought. Good work, Gore. Well, the digital, like anybody can get the digital. The backers get it earlier. I'm going to send it to the backers on the 21st so they can enjoy it the same day that people get to see it in the theater. Shh, my secret. Or if you're a backer, now you know.
But still fly out.
Thanks, Patrick. If you can make it, if you're local, come on down. Zavin says, did you invite Frost and Sessler? There's no reason I can't. There's no reason I can't. I'm talking to one of the producers of the doc, a friend of mine named Christopher Flynn, who is inviting everyone. So we have an RSVP list for the attendees that are part of the film, but like, this is me with I want the people to go to this. I don't want some snooty premiere where you have to be on the list. We have a small number of tickets. You can go. Why shouldn't you be able to enjoy going to a movie premiere? Okay. So get your tickets now. Get your tickets now. Invite Olivia Munn. I will. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll message her on Instagram. Let's see. Davina Duckworth says, congrats on finishing Attack of the Doc. There's a lot of surprises. I also think that the ending of the movie is going to be controversial to people. They're also, just for those of you, the ending is controversial. And then also there is a post-credit scene. That's kind of my mic drop on everything related to G4 TV, everything. I don't want to say, just stay past the credits. The credits are 6 minutes long. Because if you're a backer, or even if you're a Patreon contributor, your name is in the credits. David Glenn, what's the food like? You're talking at the Frida Cinema? It's fine. It's like movie theater food. They've got like good snacks. What food? What would you say Frida's like? It's like
it's basic. It's basic indie movie theater popcorn. But in terms of the area, we're in the heart of Santa Ana. There's a lot of good Mexican food.
Great bars and restaurants, cheap stuff, higher end stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at the after party at probably a rooftop bar that if you come to the screening, I'm just going to tell everyone after the screening, go to this bar, but I will not announce it here. You have to go to the screening. David Glenn also asks, can I dance to it? 100%. 100%. You can.
Yeah, Zach wrote a bunch of dance tunes, right?
Zach wrote 10 songs for the movie. They're all these little short songs. 8 of them are in the movie. There are 2 songs we didn't use that are going to be on the Blu-ray.
And you can dance to those.
Greasy Guido says, is there any graphic nudity in it? Funny you should ask. We did have to change something, which will not be changed on the Blu-ray. There is some full frontal nudity in this film. We're going to release the unrated version of the documentary. There's full frontal nudity, and I fought for it. It's like a quick glimpse, but you could pause it. Yes, there is full frontal. And specifically our distributor contract, we went with a company called Indie Rights because they can get us on all these platforms. Mm-hmm. We can't have full frontal nudity in the movie. We had to fix something last minute.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, but for the Blu-ray,
Triple X.
Get ready with your pause button.
Yeah.
Unlimited Power says, where did you get your R2-D2? The R2-D2 that's behind me is a cooler. It is actually a plastic cooler that if you open it up, you can fit like a ton of beer and stuff in it. It's this top comes off, and you could fit like at least 24 beers. I bought it from the official Star Wars fan club for like $100. So there you go. Spidey Sensei 72 says, "Is Kevin Pereira's junk in it?"
No, he's saying it's his. It's his junk, isn't it?
It's Kevin Pereira's junk, isn't it? No, it's someone that is very famous. Wes says, "Release the gore cut."
It's James Cameron, isn't it?
No. Although what's funny is how, after sort of looking at this movie for so many times, how much Attack of the Show predicted so many things that are happening in pop culture now. Like James Cameron is in the doc talking about Avatar. There's a comedy sketch about the Fantastic Four. They're making the Fantastic Four movie. There's so much. And what I tried to do is make a period. What I was attempting to do was to make a period documentary that captured what the early 2000s was like. What I was shocked to learn is how vastly different the early 2000s is to now. In 20 years, culture has changed in so many ways, both good and bad. And I would probably say mostly bad. Everything has been a double-edged sword, from the rise of social media to a lot of things. So you'll notice in the doc, while it is about Attack of the Show and G4 and whatnot, there is some social commentary in there, not in a lectury way, but in a way that is intended to create discussion about that era. So please go to thefreetocinema.org and grab your tickets. I hope to see some of you there. I hope that, we pack the screening enough that we have to add, we do have the option to add a third screening at 6 p.m. I just want to have, what I do want to do? I want to have a reunion. And if they're not going to do, this is a reunion for anyone involved or anyone who remembers that era, who was a fan. I want to bring positivity back to the conversation about G4. And I want the legacy of G4 and Attack of the Show to be preserved. So people look back and say, hey, they gave it the college try with the reboot of G4 and Attack of the Show, but wow, that show really did have an impact. It had a lasting impact. So there you go. Yeah. So tickets are on sale. By the way, this is not posted on social media. I made the announcement here. That's it, during this show. So check out the link in the description to get tickets to Attack of the Doc screening at it's going to be a blast. I can't wait.
It will be.
I can't wait. Alan is doing the Q&A.
For all three, or how's that working?
Well, look, I'll find at least one of them, Alan, please.
I can do all three. That's fine.
Just hang out.
I know. The beauty is I live nearby, so...
The one thing is I'm about to send, in the next week or so, I'm about to send copies of the movie out to critics. I'm going to ask them to hold their reviews until the 24th. Going to be curious to see what the critical reaction to this movie is. I think a lot of people are not. I think some people are not going to like it. And I'm curious.
Well, I think it's the ending that might. I feel like the ending is the one that might.
The ending is going to rub people. The ending is going to be controversial for some. And I really want to explain what I was trying to do. So there you go. Get your tickets. A couple more chat comments and questions, and then we're going to pivot. I know, Alan, let's see. Spidey Sensei 72. Will Layla Kaylee be in the documentary too? You got to just see the movie. Look,
yeah.
I tried to condense 20 years of G4 history and Attack of the Show history. I'm not going to make everybody happy. That's why you need to get the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray has a ton of stuff on it. I made the best film I could with this under the circumstances, which was I couldn't interview people in person at the time we were getting the movie shot. I had a date. I wanted to get the movie made. So
you had a whole studio set up.
We had a studio set up that we had to shut down. We'd literally interviewed a couple people. Then it's like, COVID happened, and then it was awful. Beerosaurus Rex, as a member, says, being in Canada, I didn't have G4 TV or see Attack of the Show. I think we only got G4 years after the US and probably nerfed by CanCon, but I'm still excited to watch this doc. Oh, you're going to see Canadians in it. Victor Lucas is in the doc. Remember from Electric Playground?
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Reviews says, can we pre-order the Blu-ray yet? No, not until July. You'll be able to pre-order the video on demand copy in April. See, I'm doing this stuff too early. I really should probably have waited. Foresight says Attack of the Show could have only existed in the time it originally aired. Yeah. Sadly, yeah.
At least not on a network.
Yeah.
Or on
and
a network.
Spidey Sensei 72 says, I miss the old G4 days. R.I.P. AOTS. Yeah. Kind of sad. So there you go. Look, you'll be getting updates. I recommend following Attack of the Doc on Twitter, Instagram. We have a Facebook. Just follow it there. So there you go. But look, by the way, I'm gonna actually, I have a whole bunch of pre-written tweets I'm gonna send out about tickets being on sale. So if you're on YouTube watching this live and you want to go, you should grab them now. All right, time to pivot.
So, you mentioned Twitter. So, what is the Twitter account you're going to post that on?
At Attack of the Doc.
Okay.
At Attack of the Doc. But I haven't done it yet. That's my point is I'm telling everyone on YouTube first.
Yes.
Because I love our
I'm just saying people need to follow Attack of the Doc on Twitter.
Yeah, that'll tell you whenever there's like an announcement or a solid date that something's happening, we announce it on social media. So, Alan, I think it's time that we pivoted here.
You are still dangerous. You can be my wingman anytime.
I think I shit my pants.
What was that? Alan,
I know
what was that? All right, let's talk about The Last of Us season finale. Joel and Ellie have reached their destination. They're about to harvest cells from her. We learned that Ellie, in the act of childbirth, was basically infected. And because of that, she is resistant to the fungus creatures, the spore monsters, whatever you want to call them. I like that they're a variation on zombies. And they reach their destination, and Firefly is about to have Ellie undergo a procedure that will harvest these cells, which could lead to a cure for humanity. Unfortunately, this operation, and by the way, I should say right off the top, big spoilers here for the last one. Sorry about that. I mean, look, if you've played the video game, you already know all this. If you haven't played the video game, this was new to me, but I kind of could see it coming. They're going to harvest material from Ellie that could lead to a vaccine or a cure for the affliction, right? But this procedure will kill her. And Ellie is undergoing the procedure, which leads to Joel. Joel is not very much of he's not a guy that trusts people that much. Okay. And he turns on Firefly, rescues his dear Ellie, which is effectively his surrogate daughter. And they go off to what one would presume would be further adventures. Okay. That's the crux of it. I'll say this. Here's what I'll say about it. And look, for some of you, it's been a mixed bag on The Last of Us. I've actually enjoyed it. I think part of the reason is twofold. One, I didn't play the video game first. I'm still about 3-4 hours in. I'll pick it up. But the differences I've heard between the game and the show, I get it. I get if you play, it's almost like your first imprint of something. You play the game first, you're going to be predisposed to like the game more than the show, right? But I like Pedro Pascal. Ellie grew on me, but it really was only within the last few episodes. I will say that those middle episodes were rough. I found her to be grating and annoying. I actually almost wonder if that's by design because I really did not like her character. And then I warmed up to her towards the end because I feel like she finally became humble. She warmed up to finally respecting Joel. They had this very contentious relationship that turned to one of affection. I don't mean any inappropriate affection, folks. And it worked for
father and daughter affection.
Father-daughter, feelings. And here's what I liked about it. I felt that this season finale was satisfying. I don't need a season 2. Wherever they go off in the world, I'm cool with it. I don't need to know what happens. The story of her being this the one who could cure everyone because of her unique circumstances of her birth, that story's done. The story is done. And I feel for me, the story is done. I don't know that we need a season 2 of this. If it goes in the direction of the game, I think people are going to really be turned off because Pedro Pascal is the true, hero of this, right? And you could look on it two ways. You could look on, I've seen some other people comment that Joel is actually wrong, that he should have allowed Ellie to go through this process, become the possible savior for humanity. And he basically gave into his own selfish desires to have a daughter back, and then he went wild on the Fireflies. So for me, this is satisfying. I don't need to see more. What I really liked about this season, because I watched The Walking Dead for 5-6 seasons. I got tired of that show. There are episodes of The Last of Us that would have been an entire season in The Walking Dead. There's the episode just a couple episodes ago with the people who
the town folk, yeah,
the cannibals with the charismatic leader. That would, if this was Walking Dead, they would have dragged it out for a season. And so a lot of the conflicts that occurred in The Last of Us, what I liked was how quickly the story moved. Even the Bill and Frank episode, yes, it came a little early in the season. I wish they'd saved it. It's weird. I'm saying I wish they had dragged out the story. But it's really like, it's 10 episodes. It just has a satisfying ending. I don't care about season 2. I don't know what that tells you. I feel like, the emotional, like the emotional and character arcs that needed to play out with Ellie and Joel, those are resolved. Right? He chose Ellie. He chose his daughter over humanity. And I think it comes back to the first episode when there was a moment where Joel kind of hesitated. He could have taken out that soldier because he saw what they were doing. He kind of trusted in them, and the trust was broken. The U.S. government basically killed his daughter, was responsible for her death in the first episode. He wasn't going to see a repeat of that. He wasn't going to let Ellie go. So I feel like the character arcs were resolved. I feel like they sort of visited pieces of humanity. I think there would be crazy despots, charismatic leaders, and religious fanatics, and people that are preppers. Like Ellie and Joel got to experience sort of all types of like where humanity's at. So I don't care what happens in season 2. To me, the story is told and it's done. And based on what I know from season 2, I probably wouldn't like it. But I actually was very impressed and surprised how much I enjoyed this episode, even the ones where they diverted to talk more about other characters. So, and again, with any good, quote, zombie movie, the monsters are just a catalyst for a morality tale. And because it's more about the choices that the human characters make. The human characters are making choices in the show, and they're forced to make moral choices. Who do I save? Who do I not save? Do I trust this person? Do I not trust this person? Do I have to murder this other human being to save my own life or someone I care about? Like, zombie movies are always about those kind of big choices and decisions people are forced to make that are horrible to imagine yourself in that situation. And you would imagine yourself that I would do the right thing, the good thing. Sometimes the right thing is not necessarily to do sometimes there's decisions that need to be made that you don't want to be put in a position to make those decisions, but you have to. And that's what I love about any sort of zombie fiction, whether it's George Romero films or Return of the Living Dead, which is more comedic, or The Walking Dead, which I loved, but I never finished it. And after, I tell you exactly when I checked out, when they killed Coral, remember Coral, Carl is Rick's son. When Carl got, for no reason whatsoever, except for the fact that he was basically a little kid when the show started and grew up on the show to look like he looked like Timothy Chalamet at the end. He was this like older kid. And most of the characters are getting written out because they were just tired of working on the show. They were working in 100-degree like Atlanta heat. And yes, first of all, more power to all the people that were involved in the making of The Walking Dead. But I felt that many of the conflicts and many of the storylines were dragged out. And it felt too much like a soap opera and not the best parts. I feel like what The Last of Us did, it's the best parts of a zombie movie. And it's a 10-hour story, effectively like a 10-hour one story that is fantastic. So I would grade it very high, B+ or A- for me. Right up there, solid B for sure. But I enjoyed it. I want to hear your thoughts. Let's pivot to your thoughts.
By the way, the background here. Sorry, I think that's me. The background there that's the last episode I saw. The mall date. So
yeah, that was a.
Did I miss 2 episodes? Is that?
Yeah, you missed the last 2 episodes, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the mall date. The mall date that goes wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
For other
reasons.
And
then I guess I read what Rainn Wilson said about the next episode, the cannibal episode. But I don't know, this show, I think fundamentally it was pretty good, but I always felt like, I don't know, they were trying to push things that they weren't saying they were trying to push. And
I thought it, you know what, Alan, honestly, I thought it was fine. Like, I don't, here's what I like. I don't know. You're alluding to something. I'll just say this.
Yeah.
I think that the characters of Bill and Frank, because we have seen gay characters handled terribly. Everything Disney. Everything Disney. Disney basically does the gay version of blackface whenever they do characters that are gay. I think it's so cliche. They lean into stereotypes. And what I liked about the gay characters we met in The Last of Us is the first characteristic isn't that they're gay. They have other characteristics that make them a person who happens to be gay. They're not defined by being a lesbian or homosexual. That's irrelevant.
But I get that. I get that. My biggest issue is it was a one and done episode. They just present them, they kill them off, and it's gone. As opposed to, I get they're following the game, but these were 2 such strong characters, to have seen them kind of bleed into other episodes, and the whole point of that episode was they got the car battery. The whole point of the mall date was to show that she was immune. It's like this big story to only touch upon one aspect of the overall story, and I think that's why I felt like the storytelling in this show up until what I've seen has been somewhat clunky in the sense of, it's like, what were the stakes what were the stakes? That first one, car battery. This one, we discover why she's immune. And it just felt like, you just kind of wasted my time and trying to, so I'll see the other 2 and we'll see how it goes. But I don't know. I'm just not as up. It's compared to what's out there currently in television. It's definitely better than most.
I just remembered how frustrated I was watching The Walking Dead, and I had read the comic book. Like, I would get those collected hardback versions of The Walking Dead. I would just read those relentlessly. It was so great. The comic was in black and white, and it was the storytelling was so fantastic, so drama filled. I could not get enough of the comic book. And then I sort of read up until like The Governor, and then the TV series started, and I thought the TV series was great, and it really began to drag towards the end.
Yeah.
After they killed Glenn, one of the great characters, they could have gone differently because what the creator, what is his name? Robert Workman was the Kirkman. Robert Kirkman said that like the comic book and the TV show will be different. I liked that because then it added some surprise. But then
it didn't. It became the comic book.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I gave up on Walking Dead same time you did when they killed Glenn the first time.
Glenn, and then the Glenn the second time, and then
I quit after the first one. No, but my point there is it just became the cycle of here's some great characters, you're gonna fall in love with them, and then we're gonna kill them, and it just continued that cycle over again. It was like I'm tired of this. I've seen too many of my favorite characters dying in this show.
It got tiresome, and so I just looking back and just remembering my experience with Walking Dead, which was so frustrating. Last of Us I thought was satisfying. Let's go to comments. That episode 8 though, wow, says Paulie from Latino Slant. AIA, Rick is a way better main character, but yes, The Walking Dead got old real quick. The Last of Us is the perfect gateway show for newcomers to zombie stories. For me, a veteran, it was just boring. Go watch Kingdom. Kingdom. Is Kingdom a TV show? I'm going to assume it is. And
I don't know much about it.
Based on the recommendation and your zombie cred, I will have to check it out. Ramina Jones says they should end it here. It is a stronger narrative to do that, and folks can discuss was it the right move or not. That's a strong story. I agree with you. Bass player 2011 FI says Joel is getting a 5-iron to the head no matter what. I've heard that. Kevin Apple says, remember how good Walking Dead was? Last few seasons excluded. Last of Us isn't even close to that. Yeah, I mean, I will say this, they did more with the zombies and the more with like people in peril and making bad choices. This didn't focus as much on the creatures. I hesitate to call them zombies. It's different.
Yeah.
But
you have to admit the first 3 to 4 seasons of The Walking Dead was
very good. They had me. Loved it. Rita Iban Muhammad for 5. Chris, you are wrong. Alan is right. They have an agenda. All fans of the game know the controversy of 2. It is an agenda. Well, 1, I haven't played part 2, and we'll see. I'll at least check in on the first few episodes if there's a season 2 of The Last of Us. We'll see.
There probably will be.
John Thomas for 5 says, I would reject the binary choice of Ellie or humanity. I cannot accept harvesting cells results in death unless the doctor is incompetent or a sadist. Yeah, I would agree with that, John. It just seemed like too easy to say it's black and white. It's this choice or that choice. There had to be a different way of doing it. New guy Drew for 10. The Last of Us show was sufficient. Show and game are different in tone and pace, perhaps not for the better. We've kept talking about the game for years because of how good it was. The show will be forgotten. Okay. Maybe it's just, you're right. It is for normies, I think. There you go. Alan quit after they killed the Asian. Of course.
Yep.
Says imperfect.
I hate to say it, but there's a little bit of that to it. It's like the one Asian character.
Well, also, Stephen Yeun is really likable. He's a really likable actor. I met him briefly because he came on Attack of the Show. He was on the show, and I love it. I thought he was great in Nope. I thought like he's, I don't know, just everything he turns up in, he's fantastic.
And there's a TV series coming out with Ali Wong that premiered at South by Southwest.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. That looks weird. Oh, shoot, we haven't gotten to South by. Let's get through this. We'll do South by because I know Tommy Reviews for 2 says it should have been within canon and not an adaptation. And GH Riggs for 4 says, yeah, the show suffered massively from poor pacing. Too often time they should have spent on developing Joel-Ellie relationship rather than what we got. Great sets and cinematography, though. We'll leave it at that.
I can't believe it's over. I can't believe it's over already. That's how I felt about the pacing.
Yeah, no, I look, I enjoyed it. But let's talk about the South by Southwest. We're gonna continue conversation. We're gonna talk about the Mandalorian, I think, on Friday. We're going to be talking about The Mandalorian. We're going to talk about Shazam. Lots to talk about. But for now, we only have Alan for a brief period of time. Alan, tell us your South by Southwest Film Festival highlights, starting with the barbecue.
Yeah, the barbecue was great. Yeah, I basically, it's so expensive there, especially the Uber. So I decided to do Uber Eats, and not a real plug for Uber Eats, but when you sign up for the Uber one, you get 40% off of several meals. So I bought like $40 worth of barbecue for like $20. So I was very happy. And you can see me eating it on the Oscar watch party. Yeah, this is, Chris and I have been having a lot of behind the scenes discussions about festivals, the nature of festivals. And, this one, it was kind of like it got fun and then it got woke. It got really woke about midway through. And, there were some documentaries I saw that it was like, oh, I totally agree with what's going on here. One was about the agricultural business or agricultural crisis here in America. The other one was about GameStop and the, basically the rise of the retail investors. And it was great. I was loving it. I thought the message was great. And then it went woke. And so this is, and then there was like all these Planned Parenthood documentaries. There were immigration documentaries, immigration stories. And it's kind of like you realize, there's kind of this political bent that's kind of going on here. But I'll just give you some. The other thing is it's hard to talk about a lot of these films because they're kind of missing the genre stuff. It becomes these political movies and TV shows, and it was like, well, what do I talk about on the stream? And there's a sense of, just how much are you going to be interested in it? And so I'll just give you a few highlights. The film for me was Late Night with the Devil, and that stars David Dastmalchian, who was on our show a couple weeks ago, and actually talked about this film a little bit. But the idea of this movie is it's part of the Midnight series. David Dastmalchian plays a late night talk show host from the 70s, kind of your Johnny Carson, Michael Douglas type. His ratings, he's syndicated, his ratings are going down. He needs to bring them back up again. And so he decides that before his show ultimately gets canceled, he's going to do one last stunt for Sweeps Week. And that's to make it a kind of a Halloween special, a Halloween episode. And so the guests include a medium who can talk to the dead. He then brings on this amazing Randy type guy who used to be a psychic, but now debunks psychics. And then he brings on this woman who wrote a book called Conversation with the Devil, and that she is a paranormal psychologist. She has a current client named Lily, who's demon possessed from a religious cult, and then David Dastmalchian's character gets her to basically unleash the demon for ratings for the audience. And the whole show is set up, the whole movie is set up as this is the last episode of the talk show. And so they're going to play the episode in its entirety. So you're watching the beginning of the episode to the end, plus there's some interstitials during commercial where you see kind of the behind the scenes. And tonally it's got this 70s feel, which is kind of fun. Basically you kind of know what's going on. The demon gets loose, and then the audience and the guests are kind of at the mercy of it. And that's kind of how the movie plays out. It's just a lot of fun. It is a whole lot of fun by these two Australian guys. Absolute blast. And that's probably the only movie I saw that would be of any interest on this stream. Maybe John Wick 4 was the other one.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing is John Wick 4 and Dungeons and Dragons premiered at South by. When I looked at that, and then I saw like all the movies that are playing that are like, it just was not.
Yeah.
I decided at the last minute, I canceled my flight. And I just didn't go because I thought, well, Alan's going. We have another writer that went. Sabina DePlace went as well. You can read the reviews on filmthreat.com There's a lot of South by Southwest reviews, but I'll say this. Here's what I'm very disappointed about. I feel like there used to be back in the day of going to South by Southwest or even going to Sundance or all these or Slamdance festivals, there would be a sense of discovery, like who's going to be the next Kevin Smith or the next Quentin Tarantino, the next Soderbergh, the next Allison Anders. There were so many like indie filmmakers from the 90s and early 2000s that came up and were, came up at film festivals. And that doesn't exist. It seems like young filmmakers, first-time filmmakers in their 20s, they don't have a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, I went to one screening. I'm sorry, just to bring up another film. I went to one screening, and actually, Yvonne Strahovski's in this movie. It's called Scramble. But this is probably the only filmmaker I saw that has, in my opinion, potential. It was just about her experience as a 30-year-old woman who realizes that if she doesn't get pregnant now, she's not going to get pregnant, and so she decides to freeze her eggs. And it's this comedy about that. And the only thing is, it's very, the subject matter is something that you really have to be into to really get into it. But in terms of being a great writer, I forget her name, but she was. It's like this movie was written so well. It tackles a very sensitive subject about being too old to have kids in your 30s, and but she felt like that screening was the exception in terms of the kind of filmmakers that are being brought up nowadays. So I'm just agreeing with your point. It's like I don't know. We're slowly losing the ability to tell good stories and tell it well, especially through the medium of film.
Well, we're losing the ability to tell stories that aren't infused with agenda or message.
Yeah.
There are too many of them, and it's gotten tiresome. The audience is tired of it. Tell a good story. You can have things sort of in the background. Every movie's got every good movie to me has layers. There's more to talk about than what's on the surface. But
let me talk about one.
Oh, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I got to go soon.
Sure.
Let me, so
there's a lot of questions and comments for you, Alan.
Yeah, so I'll make this quick and then let's go to the comments.
Yeah.
One movie, The New Americans. It's about the retail investment. How Robin Hood and all the others were basically taking on Wall Street bets from Reddit. How they were taking on the big hedge funds, and it was just kind of going through it, and I was just getting into it. Yeah, the little guys are now finally able to take over the big institutions, and that's the impression I got until midway through. And the director said that this is the basis of how the movie came out. But midway through, the director made the connection between January 6th and 2 weeks later, what happens? The GameStop debacle occurred.
What?
And so yes, and so now
embarrassing.
The last third of the movie is about January 6th and how white supremacists took over, started futzing around with GameStop. And to me, it was like, you had such a good documentary all the way up until this point. You had me hook, line, and sinker. And then you just threw it. And the same thing happened with this agricultural documentary I saw. It's like, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying about how corporations are taking over agriculture, and how it's ruining not only the taste of food, the quality of food, but then halfway through it's like, yeah, but Republicans, they're the ones who screwed this all up. And, boy, I wish, if Democrats could only take over. And, it's like, oh my God, you had me and then you lost me.
That's probably why Attack of the Dock wasn't at South by Southwest.
Yeah, probably.
It wasn't there's a message woven into Attack of the Dock. Doesn't hit you over the head. Draw your own conclusions, but it's not the right message.
Yeah. Okay, I got to get going. So yeah,
okay, shoot, let's go. Real quick. Whiskey One Eye for 22 says, cheers guys, great show. I did have a problem with Marlene seeing how Ellie was born, knowing that Ellie didn't turn after her mom got bit and then gave her up to Fedra, even though knowing she might be the cure. And then David Glenn says, stop barbecue hate.
I love barbecue.
Imperfect says BBQLM. And Fletcher Williams asks, but did you take a picture of the food first, Alan?
Oh, no, but I have a video of one of them, of the unboxing.
Cool. And
I'll be posting videos soon.
Kevin Apple says, is Alan going to the FNT meetup in Vegas? Chris, please go, or else Gary will have you kidnapped anyways.
Yeah, if you go,
I'll try to go. I'll try to go. And then
if you go, I'll try to go as well.
Okay, cool. And then Gandalf identifies as White Wizard as a member, says, who wants to watch a documentary about Planned Parenthood? I'd rather watch Frost on Girls Gone Wild videos.
I was curious about going to the after party of that one to see what it was like.
You went to the after party for Planned Parenthood?
No, I could have. I was tempted. I was tempted.
Look, if I'm going to see it, here's the one thing that I've noticed. Documentaries that we get at Film Threat, they are not balanced. Documentary filmmakers used to act as journalists and say, here's this side of the story. Here's this side of the story. There are two sides to this story. I'm going to show you both sides. And you, the audience, will decide what you would like to think or feel about this. That is not how modern documentaries are made.
Nope.
That is not how modern documentaries are made. And it's disheartening. I'm seeing it happen in real time.
Much like journalism today.
Pretty awful. But there you go. Alan, I know you got to go. We got, how much longer can you stay, Alan?
No, I got to go.
You got to go. Okay, Alan, have a great rest of your day.
Yeah.
Take care, man. See you Friday. See you Friday.
Yeah, see you Friday.
Bye-bye. Bye. Let's go through some of these other chat comments and questions. We have a special guest that's going to be joining us in just a few minutes here, but we're going to go through these real quick. Foresight says, woke takes the festive right out of festivals. Yes. Not as fun to hang out with. Let me just say that. Patrick Lemire, now that all the streamers are going broke, the woke doc market is going to die. I don't think it, here's why I don't think it will. Because of where the funding sources are. They're purely funded propaganda. That's what most documentaries are today. The storytelling and unbiased looks at issues are suppressed in favor of this documentary was made by a specific organization to push a certain agenda. Patrick Lemire says, David Desmalchin is great in Teacher. I think that's his name. I know how to spell it. It's spelled just like it sounds. Desmalchin. It's all good. Someone had it correctly in the chat. I think it was Davina Duckworth. Kevin Apple says, okay, I already got that one. Alan Horkin, I am still looking forward to Shazam 2. The first film earned my goodwill. Interviews with David Sandberg on making your own films are worth checking out. It seems like everyone involved in that seems like just a good person. And I like Zachary Levi. So I think it'll be fun. Will it be a great movie? Probably not, but it'll be fun. I'm seeing it on Thursday. I'm seeing it tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Gamer Ward says, Kira is a trooper. We will have Kira back. Kira will be back on the show for a special event. And Patrick Lemire says D&D, that's Dungeons and Dragons movie, is another case of taking a cash cow and killing it with the message. And Gamer Ward says D&D is gonna flop so hard. Unfortunately, probably, yeah. I mean, I think that it looks fun. It looks like sort of a sort of fun action movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. But I think what's going to happen is that it's going to be weighted down by things it's trying to say. But let's pivot for a second. One of the things I love to do with you, our viewers, over 500 people you watching live, is I want you to have an opportunity to talk to filmmakers whose movies are out in release in theaters, on video on demand, and we bring them here to you so you can ask them questions. Director Scott Majors is waiting in the wings now. His movie Line of Fire, I believe, is out on video on demand. It's a film, it's a thriller about a young a policewoman who is involved in an unfortunate incident, not what you think, in which she is vilified on social media to the point where something is going to happen. It's a suspense thriller. You have to see, check out the trailer, look up Line of Fire. And it's there's a movie called The Line of Fire. Not that movie, it's Line of Fire. Scott Majors is the director. He's joining us on the Film Threat Livecast. Scott, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me. And I know we've had a couple of false starts, so thank you for getting me back on. I appreciate
it's
it.
okay. I'm glad you finally made it. Now, are you in Australia right now?
I am. It's 8:39 a.m. in Australia, right?
Oh, well, thank you for getting up bright and early. Wait, I lost you on the audio there. You still there? Uh-oh, the audio's out. We'll get that fixed. Maybe try leaving and coming back. Try that. Give it a shot. Yeah, for some reason the audio's gone. I don't know why. Well, you should check out check it out. Scott, try okay, here we go. He's gonna be right back, I promise. So here we go. Yeah, muted. Aussie alert. People are, yeah, it happens. It happens. Here he's back. Scott, you back? Audio, no audio. Oh no, no. All right, give it a shot. Okay, I'm starring your comments. But Line of Fire is on video on demand. Just all you gotta do is watch the trailer. It doesn't go to places that you think. You think it kind of sets you up to be one thing, and it is not. So there you go. I'm just gonna go to some of your comments here. Let's see if Scott fixed it here. Scott, are we back?
Hello.
Yeah, you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's great. Good. Okay. Don't change a thing. We're going to go to comments and questions from our audience. We got 500 people watching us live, but tell us what this story is not what you expect. An unlikely lead, an unfortunate incident. She's just, all I can say is this, the twists, totally unexpected. What went into the development of this film and the story? Oh, no, you're muted again. Oh no. Oh no. Something's wrong. Oh no. Oh, Scott. I'm sorry. Try and come back. Try one more time. I'm going to go to comments here from people. Mike Wait for 5 says, I just got tickets for the 8:30. I'm on vacation. I'll be driving from Seattle. See ya soon. Wait, Mike, you're going to come down? That's awesome for Attack of the Doc. That's great. Iceman says, Aussie alert. Davina Duckworth goes on talking about our conversation earlier about Shazam, says, and Zachary Levi was also great in Chuck. Dylan W., who's a member, says, the beard is on point. When two beards come to a point, the better beard always has the right of way. This guy is always in front. Kevin Apple says, I'm intrigued. Where can I watch it? I'd be happy to pay to watch. Go to an app. I use this app all the time. It's called Just Watch. Just Watch is an awesome app. I use it to I use it to find out where I can see something. So let's see. Scott is back. Scott, can you hear us?
Third time live.
It blew out again. Oh man, I don't know. Maybe, I think you probably need a hardwired microphone to your computer, not a headset. So not a headset, a hardwired mic. Maybe even the mic on the computer. Let's go. Fourth time's the charm. We'll try one more time. But do use a different microphone. Choose a different mic. Let's try it. So Snakes and Funerals says Australia is still in the silent era. Oh, can you hear me?
I'm just on the Mac speaking, the Mac microphone.
Someone's asking David, do you know sign language? It's okay. We have a lot of people watching. But tell us where the story for this, where it came from.
Well, when I was first approached with the script, I mean, I guess the thing that's that really attracted me to it was the fact that the antagonist and protagonist just they switch all the way through the movie. You one moment you're barracking for one character, the next time you're barracking for the other. And a little bit of a fun fact: originally there was two. The film was originally two male leads, and as we started developing this the script and working through it with Christopher Gist, who's a wonderful writer and producer of it, we decided that we found that the story was so much richer with two female leads, which was amazing.
Well, let's go. First of all, you have to check out. I'm just telling everyone that's watching, go check out the trailer. Now, the movie is out on video on demand. A lot of people asking on about video on demand. Is it out on that yet?
Yeah, it's definitely it launched. The first time we were supposed to catch up, probably about a month ago. That was around the release date. So yeah, you can go to all your normal streaming services. Your I think it's Apple Play, Google Play, and all that kind of stuff. You can definitely get it on video on demand.
Cool. Well, let's go to comments and questions for you. Davina Duckworth is very happy. Says working, so that's great. And then Rida Ibn Muhammad says, I just saw the trailer. Breath of fresh air. A real plot, creative, pulled me in. I am going to watch this movie. Well done, sir. The Nerd Far Away asks, what are your general thoughts about actors and age? Do you think age is important, or should the actor fit the role regardless of age? What are your thoughts?
Look, definitely. I think, if the actor fits the character, then it shouldn't matter about the age or the male or female or whatever. It is about telling the story. For me as a director, it's always about telling the story, and whoever fits that role is the right person.
Yeah. Well, and then let's see. The Line of Fire premise sounds intriguing. So there you go. Okay. Question from John Mewell. Do you think John Mewell, by the way, who has a beard, says, do you think the best directors have beards?
I'm slightly biased, but yes, I would say the best directors have beards. This actually, I used to shave at the start of a job, and then not shave till the end of the job, and then COVID happened, and the job that I was on went into hiatus for 10 months, and that's when this happened.
Cool. I have a question about. We have other questions from people here, but I want to ask: was it difficult when you were getting the film made? Of like the protagonist is a cop, right? And yes, I wonder if that was a challenge in today's climate. Was that an issue? She's a seasoned female cop. There's an unfortunate set of circumstances. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I wonder if that was an issue at all.
Look, it definitely was, and I guess it's about what we've tried to bring to it, and what I think any good films do is they take away what a person does as a job. That's just part of the story, and we look into the human element. And the whole thing with Line of Fire for me was bringing the humanity back to things. We have someone harassing someone on social media, and I think that's the message I want to. For me, the film really gets across is, in our society, without making too big a statements, but in our society, we so quick to shoot off a tweet or a comment or all these sort of things, and it dehumanizes what the other person is going through. So yes, Samantha Romans is a police officer, but she's also a human. And then the journalist, she is dehumanizing that person and judging them, and then she gets a very human experience in response to her dehumanizing that police officer. And for me, if there's a moral, if there's something I want people to get out of it, is just before you jump on the bandwagon, before you start attacking people online or anything like that, just realize that you don't know what they've gone through. You do not know what they're capable of, what they've been through, and maybe empathy is the better step rather than attack.
Dude, I thought it was so amazing to tell this story, and brave also, basically a protagonist who's a police officer, and showing that not what you always see in front of the cameras or on social media, that's not always real. So other people are commenting. Says Gamer Ward says, well, a lot of older actors play younger roles. That's when you get like 30-year-olds playing teenagers in high school. Lubitch Touch Me asks, what made you want to switch from acting to directing?
Well, I was actually on a TV show and they fired me, and then they offered me a job directing. So that was the circumstance. But no, look, I've been in the industry 30 odd years in Australia, and I've always had an interest in directing. As an actor, I tell one person's story. As the director, I have all the tools at my disposal to tell the entire story. And I really fell in love with the directing process and being able to really take the audience on a journey. So I still do a bit of acting. There's a TV show called Heartbreak High, which you can get over there in the States, which I'm acting in with a huge bid. But yeah, no, especially in Australia, it's good to have two strings to your bow. Our industry is not quite as big as it is over in the States, so being able to both act and direct keeps me employed.
Cool. More comments here. Foresight says police procedurals are still big on TV despite the anti-cop zeitgeist. Fletcher Williams says, looks like the movie is available in Prime and Vimeo. So there you go. I watch a lot of movies on Vimeo. I love Vimeo. A lot of cool indie stuff. Alan Horkin says, I cannot say for sure, but I expect that the Australian police have less cases of excessive force than American police. So I don't know if you have thoughts on that.
But look, I only know what I get fed in the press from what happens in America. But there's not so many cases here in Australia, that's for sure.
Well, I can say it's good to keep a skeptical mind. Let me just say that.
Absolutely.
And I think that's going to wrap it up for us. People would be mad if I didn't ask. Have you heard of a guy named Jack Murphy? Do you know who Jack Murphy is?
No.
It's good that you don't know. Don't look it up. You have a very similar beard to him. He's sort of his.
Don't look it up.
Don't look it up. But Jack Murphy's become something of an internet meme, and he has a very similar beard. But you, sir, are no Jack Murphy. You are Scott Majors, the director of Line of Fire. And congratulations on the film. I mean, I thought it was just, I don't know if you intended to be brave in the making of this movie, but I thought it was very brave to like, hey, I want to humanize a police officer. Okay.
Look, I think with the filmmaking, we always try and be brave. I always try and be brave, or at least push the envelope in some way with whatever I'm doing.
Well, congrats on the film. I recommend you all go check it out. A Line of Fire. Scott, thank you for sticking in there, and please come back when your next movie. Your next movie's out.
I definitely will. Definitely will. Thank you very much.
Cool. All right, take care, Scott. Have a great rest of your morning. Great. Look, I had to ask the question. Okay, I had to ask that question. So you would be mad at me if I didn't ask the obvious question. Okay. Sorry I didn't get to all your questions. Jack Murphy has ruined salt and pepper beards. So yeah. And here we go. Lord Thaw says, as a veteran and a law enforcement officer, I appreciate the humanization. What this movie does, and please check out the trailer. It's there's more to the story, that what you're being presented in media and social media is not exactly what is true. So yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to all your questions today. We had kind of a false start, and Alan's not here with me today. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to end the stream a little bit early. We will be back on Friday with reviews of Shazam. We're going to be talking about a couple other movies, including Champions with Woody Harrelson. There's another film I'm seeing tonight that we're going to discuss, which I can't wait. And I got a few more chat comments and questions I'm going to get to. I promise your chat comments here. I had a super chat here. Mark Perkins says, just got my ticket. Mark, awesome. I expect to meet all of you there, which is going to be a lot of fun. We want to have at least 2 packed screenings. If we have to add a third, we will add a third based on capacity. I want you all to have the opportunity to see it. So there you go. A couple more questions here. Alan Horkin says, I cannot say for sure, but sorry, we already got that one. See, I need Alan to help me out. He had to leave early today. A family issue, doctor's appointment. Alan's there, good family man, taking care of family first. So there you go. And Uncle Doug's channel says, Tarantino always said he wants to work with Tom Cruise. Hope he's in it. I'll bet Tom Cruise is in the movie playing an actor based on an actor from that era. I hope Tom Cruise is in it. It would be amazing. This is his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I'll bet it's all set in New York City. This is just speculation. All set in New York City, all around the film industry. It's going to be, I can't wait. But that about wraps it up for us today. I want to say thank you to all of you. I got to, tell you about what's happening with Attack of the Doc. I know we'll have more conversations about that. I just want you to have the first opportunity to see it. We'll talk more about that on Friday. What else is going on Friday? I think we have a filmmaker interview that's going to be very fun. Oh yeah, I don't want to spoil it. But we're going to be talking about some other stuff. Wow, Friday's show is going to be good. Friday's show is going to be really good. Okay. I'm putting a reminder to myself. Want to thank you just for hanging out on a Wednesday. It's afternoon for me. It's late or early for some of you. I appreciate we now have a global audience checking us out. Just thank you again. Late here. What film are we discussing? Sounds like a dope film. I want to watch this tonight if possible. It's a movie called Line of Fire. It's very good. So there you go. We will continue this conversation on Friday. Great show today, Chris. You guys rock, says Imperfect. Chupa and Chill. Oh my God, Paulie. Did you see the trailer for Chupa? I think I saw you had on your community tab on Latino Slant. Oh my God, that trailer. I was like, there's someone I would like to hear what they think about it. Paulie, can't wait for your review of Chupa, a trailer that was just released from Netflix, a movie that is coming to Netflix. Going to be interesting. But that wraps it up for us. I want to say thank you to everyone. I'm Alan-less. I'm producer-less. But don't feel sorry for me because I love hanging out with you a couple times a week. Maybe we should do it more often because we have another big announcement that's coming up soon. But that's it for today. Let's get out of here.